model lovers, welcome back to Richard's Toy Room once again for another plastic model kit review and build. Today we have the 1966 Chevrolet Suburban by Revell. Now this kit is an all new, as of 2017, design, mold, whatever you want to call it. This has never been released before, so I didn't realize that until I started looking things up for this. And on a side note, I've discovered something that I've always wanted that I didn't know was out there. Even though I've asked, nobody ever mentioned it. I just happened to, in passing, hear someone mention it in a video I was watching recently, and they had talked about a website where they have pretty much all the plastic model kits archived, or whatever the word you want to use. They have them like a library, and you can punch in all kinds of different information. And it's not just the United States, it's like all around the world, and it goes back to the early days of plastic models. So everyone that I was looking for so far, I've been able to find. Now, I don't know how accurate the information is. I'm assuming it's fairly accurate. There's always a possibility of human error and whatever. But anyway, I looked up this kit, and this is the only release that they show anyway. So now I will be able to give you some background information on some of the kits in the videos going forward. So that, that's interesting, and it helps a little bit, especially when I'm just sitting there guessing, well, I think this kit came out, and I don't know how many came out since, and da-da-da-da-da. So anyway, great information that I will try to incorporate in my future videos from now on. So this has like 124 parts in it. I have had this kit for a little while, and I kept putting it off because I'm not like super big on trucks. It's not that I dislike them, I just like cars more. So I just kept going, I'll do it later, Plus, to be honest with you, the color scheme on the box just kept making me think of school bus, and I just kind of like kept turning me off because I didn't want to build a school bus. So anyway, I opened the kit and I just kind of peeked through it before I started setting up for this video, and wow, this looks like a really nice kit. So, and it's Revell. It usually has a pretty good reputation, and it's skill level 4, which I don't know anymore since they've changed everything. What that used to be, maybe a 2, I don't know. But anyhow, let's move on with this. So they give you a pretty nice decal sheet. You got your seat patterns here, so you don't have to, you can paint them, but it just gives you a little more cloth detail if you use these. And then you got a whole bunch of other decals you can use, like on the doors and stuff like that, to make it like some kind of work truck or whatever. They give you some license plates and a whole bunch of little decals for stuff. So should be nice detailed kit there. And here's your instruction sheet. It's your typical Revell booklet, which starts out with listing all the, here's your paint chart. You can use that as you will. I found sometimes them to not be completely accurate. I like to do my research online. And then you get your listing of all of the parts, and it tells you what they all are, what they're called, which is nice in case you're not sure. Again, typical engine, then you go to putting all your body and stuff together. The only glass they don't give you is for the front door windows. They do give you the vents, but not the actual door glass. Now, I suppose if you were really ambitious, you could make this with hinged opening doors, but it appears that they are just stationary on this. Your interior, putting your body and interior parts in. Roof is a separate piece. Here's your chassis over here. It's got you building all that. You got your spare tire underneath. Putting your engine in, putting your wheels together and on, putting the body to the chassis, Your final details here. Putting the hood on. And then on the back it gives you placement for decals and however you want to do that. Now I want to show you this first. I didn't take this out of the bag yet because I wanted to show you. Now this isn't such a big deal because this is a newer kit and it hasn't been on the shelf very long. But as you can see, they packed the tires in here. That's not a common thing anymore. I believe they stopped doing that because they knew that tires react with the plastic over time as they sit in a kit. In fact, I've got quite a few old kits that as soon as I can get to them, I'm going to open them up and make sure that the tires are separated in a plastic bag so that they don't damage or continue to damage the ones that I'm sure probably have damage. So anyway, I wanted to show you that. So in case you're watching this video like years from now and you've got one of these sitting on the shelf, you know, still sealed, you may want to open it up and take these tires out of here because eventually they will react and cause damage. And it wouldn't be so bad. Well, I mean, it's bad either way, but it wouldn't be as bad if it was in some of the, you know, parts that you don't see too well, you know, that you can kind of fiddle around with and hide the damage or repair. But you don't want it like sitting on the side of the body like that and putting a big gigantic mark in it. I mean, that's like, it could probably be fixed for someone who's pretty experienced, but at that point you're kind of like, oh shoot, I just don't even want to do it now, it's ruined. So I just wanted to warn you on that. You get 5 tires and they're solid, but they got a lot of give to them. And I don't see no name. Wait, no, there's a name on them. Let me see. Ooh, it's so tiny. BF Goodrich, but I mean you can barely even read it. It's so tiny, and it's only on one side. So anyway, they do give you white wall inserts over here. Now I'm not sure why they gave you 8. Maybe because you come in a thing of 4 and you need 5. I usually leave the body for last, but since I got it out here, we'll show it. And here's your looks like your wheels. I'm guessing the wheel backs must be somewhere else in here. But as long as we got this out, let's take a look at this body. Very nice. As typical with Revell. You got your inner wheel wells molded in. You got some braces that need to come out for molding purposes to keep the body from collapsing. Really nice. Very crisp. Here's the clear parts. Now you get, like I said, everything except the door glass. And they also give you a glass for the instrument cluster. And your glass headlights. And it looks like maybe a washer bottle. I think that's the only other odd thing in there. There might be, there's 2 little ones here. I think they're probably some kind of turn signal lights or something. It's hard to see in the bag. I like to keep them in the bag so they don't get scratched. A lot of white parts. Yikes! Look at all these parts. We'll start with the big ones. So you got, this one's got your hood and some bumpers, it's just got a whole bunch of different parts on here, go all over the car. Here's your frame and some small miscellaneous parts and radiator. Looks like some seats and some engine parts, firewall, and yeah. There's your gigantic roof. Dashboard. Oop, there's the taillights stuck in there. 2 little red taillights. There's your body or your floor. Gigantic interior panels, including the door panels. A lot of detail there on those. That'll be something you can pick out very well on there. Very deep. Here is your inner door panel, and not sure what that is off the top of my head there. Here's your back doors, one piece, and some body part maybe. Last tree, you got another seat, you got 5, I'm guessing those are wheel backs. I'm not 100% sure. Guess we'll see. And this is for the spare tire. And the last thing in the box is the chrome. And let's see, you get hubcaps, bumpers, grill, some door handles, mirrors, wipers. And I think those are emblems and stuff too. Take a look at that. And that's it. Those are all the parts in the kit. Looks like it'll be a really nice, fun kit to build, as long as everything goes together well, which I'm pretty sure it will, because it's a modern Revell kit. So stay tuned for updates. Okay, well, welcome to our first update on this 66 Suburban. This is what I've got done so far. And I will show you. I don't have the steering wheel in yet, but I do have the interior pretty much completed. Dashboard. Nothing really too tricky. These are decals on the seats with this white stripe and then the pattern that shows through the color of the paint underneath. I did it a little darker than it should be. I didn't have that color paint. I really didn't I didn't feel like going out and buying another can of paint when I could have just used something that would work just as well. So I had a lot of hard time finding really good pictures of this vehicle online to match the parts that they've molded here for the kit. That's why how I did the interior panels here, I couldn't find any, very few that had two-tone interior like this. And as far as I could tell from my research, all these trucks had like what they call a fawn color, which is lighter than this. It's almost like a gold, but it's like a brown, real light brown. I think it's sort of metallic-y. But I went, basically what I used was this matte bronze colored paint. I can't remember if it was light bronze or whatever they call it, but I thought it worked pretty good. It's sort of a brown. It's just darker than what the supposed availability of whatever was in 66. So anyhow, that's what I ended up doing with that. And as you probably already know, since it'll be in the thumbnail, it's going to be blue. I tried to find an actual blue from the era, but I couldn't find the one I liked. So I ended up picking this one. It's called Quasar Blue. It is a GM color. I'm just not sure exactly what year it's from. But I didn't use any primer on the bottom here, and I'm not going to clear coat it. I'm using the Duplicolor paints on this. And I'm going to give it a shot again after my experience with other kits. So I'm hoping that since I bought the Duplicolor primer and the Duplicolor clear coat, that it will come out a lot nicer. So the other part that I have done is the chassis with the wheels. They do roll, but they're a little tight. They do turn. I used a matte clear on the white wall inserts because I thought they looked better than them being shiny. And again, I did not use any primer. I'm going to use primer when I do the body, so it probably will look a different shade on the blue. So here's the underside. You can see the spare tire under there, and the gas tank, and the exhaust, and the suspension, and all that. Did the hubcaps. Those are decals in the center. Here's the engine and transmission. There's some decals on the valve covers. They're kind of hard to see. They were kind of hard to place because they really didn't give you a spot for them. But so far, I don't think I've had any problems with this kit yet. The only thing that I had a little bit of an issue with, I think this frame is just slightly warped, but I don't think it'll be an issue putting it together when it goes to the body, because I think it's very flexible, so I don't think it'll be an issue. But putting this exhaust on here, it kind of didn't want to stay down, so I had to use clothespins to hold it into place while the glue set. It wanted to keep popping off. But otherwise, so far, everything's like popped together pretty well. And I don't really have much done on the rest. It's all kind of got to still go to paint and everything. So there's really nothing to show there. So that's where we sit at this point. Most likely, I think what's probably going to happen is it's just going to go to the final reveal from here. I can't see, unless I run into a big problem, I can't see doing another update on this. I do want to mention that the decals are excellent on this kit, and I finally got some of this micro set. This stuff works great. I endorse it. I had the tester stuff, which worked okay, but this stuff makes tester stuff look like it's junk. This stuff is awesome, and I'm glad I got it after other people had recommended it online. So anyway, like I said, the decals so far have been awesome. They've gone on with absolutely no problem and sunk right into all the details with the micro set. They all look like they're painted on, like these hubcaps. You would know. I mean, obviously you'd know they're decals, but I mean, you look at them and they just look painted on. I mean, they're beautiful. All right, so stay tuned. Okay, well, welcome to the final report on this before well, I guess it would be the final reveal actually, because you're seeing the finished car, but I always call the final reveal when I put it on the turntable. Now you can see the results here, and since the other report, there was one thing that was interesting, well, to me anyway. Here's the one part that didn't get used on the chrome tree. It looks like some sort of gas cap or something, so I'm guessing that maybe the chrome tree may have been used for another vehicle, like maybe I wanted to say an F-150, but a pickup truck version of this. I even looked in this part number 72, it doesn't even call it out in the directions, so I know it's not used on this kit. But I just thought that was kind of interesting, because I'm like, wait a minute, where does this part go? And I couldn't find it anywhere in the directions, so then I looked it up in the list of parts, and it was not to be there, so then I knew it wasn't for this specific kit. Anyway, so the only issues are not even really issues, if you want to call them. Putting the body to the frame was a little finicky, but once I kind of got it, where it was exactly in place, it snapped right up in there. I almost could have probably not even glued it, but I did just to be safe. And the front bumper, for some reason, just didn't want to quite sit exactly right. I had a little trouble getting it to, I think it's still a little off, but it's good enough. Pretty much everything else was pretty simple, really. No real problems. Even putting the low radiator hose in wasn't that big a deal. And that was in after everything was all together. So the hood, I didn't gloss under the hood. This is a acrylic spray, dupla color, and clear coat. So I did have some issues with the paint. It has nothing to do with the kit itself, but I always have paint issues for some reason. But I managed to pull this one out of the fire with a lot of polishing because it had a lot of orange peel in it. I'm not sure what the heck's going on there, but I got for my birthday a airbrush. I got an airbrush system with the paint booth and everything. But anyway, back to this. So here's under the hood. With all the accessories added in and all that. I was a little perplexed with this hood hinge part that goes on the front here. It looked to me like it should go the other way, but then when I looked in the directions, it was upside down the other way. Well, it was 180 degrees from what I was almost going to put it in there. Luckily, I did look at the picture in the directions, and because I thought I had this radiator up too high because it wouldn't fit between the radiator and the body, and I thought that's how it went. But for some reason, it stands up. It must be because of this weird hood, how it's so thick. Anyway, went on, no problem. Just had to do it the right way. Here's the underside with the spare tire and all that on there. So, yeah, pretty much pretty decent kit. I would definitely recommend it. My only problem was real problem was doing this two-tone paint job because of taping it off and having to get it really close down here on between the white and the blue and all these weird curves and stuff. But I managed to get it done. The hardest part was up here under where the back of the grill surrounds, and this part of the hood, not the hood, but the body underneath the hood, where you see it kind of goes white across there. That I had to do that separately because I didn't realize it was supposed to be white until I was assembling it. Pretty decent kit. My only problem with the kit itself was it was short apart, and I never could get a hold of the company to get that, so I just cut a piece of clear plastic sheet that I had and glued it in there. I mean, obviously it's not original and I know it, but I don't think anybody would ever know unless they were like really looking in there and trying to find something. So let's get it up on the turntable and we'll call this one done. Thanks again for watching, and hope you'll come back for more videos.